All right, we are going to sniff a clear text HTTP session with Wireshark. We only have two VMs where we really care right now. I have Server 2016 and I also have Metasploitable here. And if you are logged out of Metasploitable, which you might be, if you see this in Metasploitable, then you type msfadmin and enter. And the password is msfadmin. So msfadmin for username and password. And you type ifconfig just to double check the IP address. And I'm going to press Control Alt on my keyboard so I can free my mouse. So again, Metasploitable is 192.168.75.131. So that's all we need to care about. So here I am on Server 2016 and I'm going to launch Wireshark. So I will type Wireshark, and until you type the whole thing, you don't actually see it. I don't know why. Press enter. So we have Wireshark, and I'm just going to start a capture on Ethernet 0. Double click, give it a moment to start actually showing something. Okay, minimize Wireshark, and open a browser. And I am going to put in the IP address of Metasploitable, 192.168.75.131. It's easy to accidentally type the wrong thing. Press enter. So you can see here's Metasploitable. This actually is not a graphic, it's just clever text. And so it says you could log in with msfadmin to get started. That's Metasploitable. But we're going to click the DVWA down here, the website. Click DVWA. And way down at the bottom, they have a hint. Default username is admin with password. We're going to go ahead and just type in whatever we want. Hacker, let me in. And it'll fail. Press enter. Login failed. That's fine. We don't care about that. What we were doing was sniffing a session. So let's come over to Wireshark and let's open up Wireshark and let's stop the capture. Now the trick, of course, is to find this session. DVWA, or actually Metasploitable, stays in clear text HTTP. It never went to HTTPS. So in Wireshark, we could do a search for HTTP, and we could do it a couple of ways. We could just simply click protocol, click that, and it will sort the protocols. And you could just look, and you could look for where it says post, because most logins in HTTP use the post method. So we could just search for post, but what if there was just so much HTTP that we couldn't manage? Another thing we could do is we could do some filtering, because we might have IP addresses here that are things that we don't care about, like 91.189.89.199, that's NTP. But there might be other IP addresses that are outside the scope of what we care about, like this one here, 52.165.175.144. So one thing you can do is you can come over to the display filter, you can click that, and you can type ip.dst for destination _host equals, it's important to say equals, 192.168.75.131. So we're only interested in sessions where we connected to this particular IP address. Press enter. And so now all the other garbage, it gets filtered out. We might see the post much more easily here. If for some reason we don't see the post right away, we can also press Control F to open a filter. And we don't want to have a display filter, we want a string filter, and not just in the packet list, but in the packet details. And you can type the word post with maybe a space in case there are other posts in there. Post with a space and press enter. And see if it takes us right away to where there was a post. And sure enough. And so here it is. And if we scroll down, maybe we'll get lucky and see, the username is hacker and the password is let me in. And you don't mind the spaces there, it's just the way it's organized. So now another thing we can do is if we think we're on the tail or on the trail of it, we could pick one of these packets, either HTTP or a TCP, you can right-click any of them and you can follow the TCP stream. And we can see the whole thing. Now, pink is what the client sends. Blue is how the server responds. So the client is always asking for stuff. The client did a GET request for the main HTTP page. The server said OK and then handed it to us and recognized this, Metasploitable and da-da-da-da-da. And remember how we saw that little list, an unordered list here? And so we saw Twiki and PHPMyAdmin and Matilda and DVWA and DAV. And then, so we saw that. But that's only one little TCP stream. That was obviously not the one with the login. So that's not the one we want. So we close that and we clear this expression here because it was not TCP stream 0. It was obviously a little bit farther down the line. Clear that. And what we want to do now is maybe search for another post. Go look for another post. Find again. So here's one here. I think we searched for this one already, or we searched for this one and we found it, and there it is. So let's go just a little bit back a bit. Well, actually, we'll pick this one so that we have the right one. We'll right-click this packet. We'll follow the stream. And we can see this whole session where we actually put the username and password in. You have to hunt around a bit with filters and look around for stuff that you actually want. So here's us, the client, at this point requesting to do a post. And in our post, we put in the username, hacker, and the password, let me in. And the server came back and said, found. And with that, then we have the rest of the session here. And then we saw a bunch of stuff. So that is how we find cool stuff, including usernames, passwords, read people's webmail or whatever. That's how we sniff a session, whatever session, so long as it's a clear text protocol like HTTP, FTP, SMTP, POP3, IMAP, so long as it's not encrypted, Telnet. That's how we sniff it using a sniffer like Wireshark.